Peace, salams. Abdullah Abbott, we back at it. What's happening with all my freedom fighters? Hey, man. Say, man, this is for everybody. Um, I always got these welfare jokes and all that. You know what I'm saying? Let's see some of the beginning of this. First and foremost, the Black Panther Party for self-defense was the progenitors of the welfare program. We didn't have that before. After they shut down COINTEL Pro, destroyed the infrastructure of black unity. The government came through, kind of like how they destroyed all the when the crops of Haiti was destroyed, the Clintons just kept giving them rights instead of letting them cultivate their own land. This is how you keep somebody in perpetual servitude. All right, let's get back into this. I see y'all watch a lot of the shorts, so we're gonna clip up this live, even though you're not here right now. Right there, here it go. All right, this is from way back. The name of the channel. Shout out to y'all. This stuff is some real good content right here. We're gonna perpetuate it. I'm gonna save my dough. Get away from here. I ain't gonna come back no more.
Welfare mothers and the children too feel.
Is that Coca-Cola? Because you know Coca-Cola had real cocaine in it back in the day. You know what I'm saying? They had to take it out. I think they said the black man turned supernatural when he was on off that yay.
That they are on a dead-end street. That the way things are, there's not enough money and no way to hold up your head. And so they've begun what amounts to a
You got places in these Middle Eastern countries that look like this, right?
welfare revolt.
You look on TV and you see that poor little kid.
Now listen to this. I just started watching this. I got maybe 2 minutes into it and I was like, yo, I gotta put this on the page. Listen to this sister right here. This is the same thing that's going on today, and we are still being overlooked. We are the most invisible and the most visible at the same time in the world.
From another nation. Oh, he looks so pitiful. I feel so sorry for him. But I can't overlook the fact that we have poor little kids in this nation.
And we still do. We have situations in these nations that still aren't, you know what I mean, handled. We have the elephants in the room, you know what I'm saying? That's still not, you feel me, being handled. You heard? Like it's maniacal.
Mrs. Etta Horn is a leader of the welfare rights movement. Their principle and their overwhelming complaint is that there simply is not enough money to raise a family, and then that it's given in a self-defeating and self-perpetuating way, that it degrades the people who receive it.
I have children. I look in my kids' face and I think, am I going to really prove to them where it
Look at my auntie right there. That's crazy. Rest in peace, Uncle DJ.
starts at? You know, they're always screaming about delinquents. American Welfare Department makes delinquents.
There is an evil system around.
Martin Luther King believes that welfare is part of that system, damaging to black and white alike.
I never knew that Martin Luther King was getting revolutionary like that. I heard he was getting way more woke towards the end of his, you know what I mean, his journey through life. Even him telling the government that we're gonna withhold our money. You know, when he said that, things got real hot for him. And also him saying he feel like he's leading his people into a burning house. He knew he was making the wrong move. He probably wish he was more on the Malcolm side, or at least somewhere in the middle.
Will not get right until this evil system is removed, because as I have listened and as I've looked and as I've lived in the ghetto, I've seen what this evil system has done to my brothers and my sisters. I've seen how it has left.
Look like Cartoon 5-3. Respect, shout out to Cartoon, man. You know me, I mess with your content.
Little children with clouds of inferiority formed in their little mental sky. I've seen how this evil system has transformed nice, decent young women into prostitutes. I've seen how this system has transformed nice, decent young men into dope addicts trying to escape the ugliness of their daily life.
That's a fact. Self-medication is definitely the epidemic in our communities, especially us being wary of doctors. such as things being a Tuskegee experiment or certain other experiments that we don't even know about that have been held upon Black American peoples. Also medicines, they give you the poison within the medicine. My mother being a pharmaceuticalist herself, she never took the COVID test. They fired her for so many jobs. Imagine my mother being a doctor and me just being a regular laborer. You feel me? Me helping a doctor out. You know what I'm saying?
Maria Ortiz and her children, Hilda, Juanita, Antonio, Pedro, in their New York apartment.
They all got bodegas down. You heard? And they voted for Trump now. You heard?
Mrs. Ortiz gets her welfare check under the Aid for Dependent Children program. It comes to about $117 every 2 weeks, about $3,000 a year. Not enough to pay the rent, feed and clothe the kids, and provide
They get like $100 a month now.
the diet that a doctor has told Mrs. Ortiz she needs. Another child is on the way, but the father of her children has deserted her.
It happens. It happens in all communities. Okay? It just so happens that Latinos, they keep it a little more hush-hush. Or they put that jacket on someone,
The fact that governs everything else in Mrs. Ortiz's life is money, or the lack of it. Her inability to give her children the things they need. But Mrs. Ortiz is comparatively fortunate. She lives in New York, which has one of the highest welfare standards in the country.
The highest influx of immigrants in the country.
Some places, Mississippi and some other southern states in particular, keep welfare recipients at the edge of starvation. 30 cents a day for each child in some areas, 50 cents a day in others. In those last days before the welfare check arrives, the children subsist on what their mother bought 2 weeks previously, mainly cereal, sometimes potatoes. Mrs. Ortiz, with 4 children and a 5th on the way, is probably beyond the point of marriage. The men she meets rarely earn more than $80 a week. If she marries, her welfare check would most likely be cut off. The men.
And what's crazy within the rural environments, the welfare was able to have these farmers in these rural environments have welfare with the father still intact. That's just another way of redlining or segregation, basically the white peoples that own lands or worked on it as sharecroppers themselves.
Cannot support her, and therefore they cannot marry her. At age 20, she may already be permanently consigned to the welfare rolls.
La ventana, oye.
The problems of the Ortizes are similar to those of welfare families in other cities. Los Angeles, Denver, Chicago, Detroit.
I have never received my check on time. Now, they
got Becky and Tammy Sue.
They say they put them out, but now, like yesterday, it's supposed to have been here yesterday, and it didn't arrive, and I'm waiting today for it.
I don't know if it's true, but I heard a hell of a lot of white women on welfare. also keep a hush. A lot of Yahudis or the untouchables also on welfare. They have multiple wives. They just don't put it on paperwork because polygyny is illegal in America. They put them all on welfare, put their checks together. They all live in the same house, and they also put their house as a holy place to pray. Tax write-off.
Now,
Jersey.
2 weeks ago, it was supposed to have been on a Friday, so it didn't arrive. So I waited Saturday until the mailman went by. Still no check. So I called down there for emergency order like they told me to. There is no such thing as emergency order on a weekend. So in other words, my children went without food from Friday afternoon, Saturday, Sunday, until Monday afternoon at 2 o'clock.
Mrs. Jane Wilson is a Detroit welfare mother. The premise of the ADC
8 Mile?
program is simple, that children without visible means of support must be aided by the state. But to be eligible, a mother and her children must be without a man in the house.
Well, my husband left me in September, and then I went down to the emergency shelter, welfare shelter, and then I had to go through the welfare, fill out all these papers, drag all 5 kids on the bus, go down there, sit there and wait for 3-4 hours until they come around to you. I felt like the lowest thing on earth when I went to the welfare. I felt like
Is that why y'all keep it on the hush hush and just put it on Black Americans?
they were all better than me, that they could walk all over me, which I got down on my hands and knees to them and begged them for coats and boots for these children at wintertime. I actually got down on my hands and knees, and you can ask anybody down at that office. I actually got down on my hands and knees and begged them. And you know what? And when I went down there, sure, they gave me the coats and boots. Sure, after you get down on your hands and knees and you beg. That's the only way you're going to get anything from the welfare. And to this day, I have never.
Yeah, I remember I went down to the welfare when I was down at out. I just was coming from Juma. I had my shoes on, my little whoop, mind you, not a dime in my pocket. They turned me around just because I was clean. I probably was the brokest one in there. Wallahi. Yeah. There's some sisters in there too. I believe there was some Iraqi son. They was dressed just as nice, had their garbs on and all that. Guess who got it? Damn sure it wasn't me.
Never gotten anything from the welfare for myself.
Little Malcolm? I ain't gonna lie, he kind of look like my pops.
Breakfast in the home of Carol King, a Cleveland welfare mother with 9 children. On the days before the welfare check arrives, there is half an orange for each child. Mrs. King has become
She got a wedding ring on.
involved in the welfare rights movement because she feels she doesn't get enough money to raise
Probably hiding her husband.
her family. She gets less than 80 cents a day for each of her children. The Ohio legislature approves only 3/4 of the amount that the state welfare department felt was a minimum necessity in 1959.
3/4 of the minimum necessity is bonkers.
The rise of ADC recipients in the last 6 years has been particularly dramatic among Negro families in the northern ghettos. Giving aid only when the husband is absent pushes the man out of the house. His presence is an economic hardship, and a whole class of women and children are growing up in the north.
Not to mention how hard it was even back then, extremely hard even back then, to get work as a black man. You think we crying and complaining now? Affirmative action or whatever? A black Dominican come up and take affirmative action right from you. You feel me? Speak straight Spanish and have that white power mind structure with him. You heard?
Northern ghettos, knowing neither husband nor father, only dependence on welfare. Life on welfare means waiting in line for food stamps, as for everything else. After getting her welfare check each month, Mrs. King's first stop is a food stamp center in the heart of Huff, Cleveland's Negro ghetto. She pays $110 for $158 worth of food stamps, which must be spent only on food. The idea is that the state guides the spending of welfare mothers, and the women resent the implicit moral judgment that they don't have the capacity to care properly for their
generations of this comes complacent, becomes a culture of not, I don't need no man. I don't need no man. Nah, you need Donald Trump though. You heard? You need that Medicaid though. You heard? You need that good old Obama phone so you can stream and pull your Johns.
children.
We are bitter because we are faced with trying to raise children without money. People on welfare, if they had money enough to at least exist on, I'm not saying, because I don't have a college diploma, that I should have, $300 a week, but I'm saying that people on welfare have a right to a decent living in a rich country like America. And,
Yeah, you got a right if you're a fucking immigrant.
like we can always, send charity overseas. And it's, for years, we've been in poverty as a country. And that I'm concerned with, a country that, gets concerned with hunger in India, but's not concerned with hunger in the United States.
Exactly. You worried about what's going on in Ukraine. You ain't worried about what's going on in Chicago. You worrying about what's going on over there in Venezuela, but you don't care what's going on over there in Compton. This is what I'm talking about. And still to this day, we always on the back burner. Where you think this rage is coming from? This ain't no, y'all gotta wait all these years. Oh, yes, the police are bad there. Yes, come together. No, Juanita. No. We been telling y'all should have came with us with all them numbers you got. We'll use your voters block and talk to your peoples, get a job. Stop just speaking Spanish at workplaces in America. You know how crazy it is? So you gotta learn Spanish to work?
They talk about
Let alone know the dialect of somebody from fucking Shanghai. And then purposely having these people train me. I'll be the only black person. You purposely have me to train with the most fucked up English speaking person in the whole compound.
planning for a future. You have to first have something to plan with. You don't plan a meal, unless you got, something to eat. And you don't plan a future unless you have something to plan with. And this is what, society's going to have to face. They're talking about future America. And, our kids are part of that future society. And, and to deprive them from the time that they're, babies, now they say, work with 16-year-olds. That's crazy. A 16-year-old, it's too late.
Growing up without enough money is hard enough, but there are other cold realities about growing up on ADC. Welfare kids usually live in neighborhoods like Cleveland's Huff. They can see the results of violence, even murder, around their own homes. And they must learn to live with it.
Vaughn, that's wild.
Hate to see these second generations of welfare coming up. And one of the things I think is more crucial to is the youth that's in the ghetto. Because
see with your black beret, my brother. Too bad they knocked that down too, and it's never gonna come back. Yes, there's a shout out to San Diego. Black Panther parties marching for the damn, you know what?
most of the youth is coming up, they're ashamed to tell their buddies, say, well, yeah, we on welfare, we getting ADC or food stamps and things like this here.
Everybody in my whole neighborhood was on relief. We used to run around and kid about it. Because everybody in my neighborhood was on relief, but I was ashamed to go out my neighborhood and tell somebody I was on ADC. Yeah, I'm ashamed of it.
If a child does not have adequate clothing, they don't want to go. If they can't participate and go to the football games and to the movies, they don't want to go to school. So it starts when a child is small. They recognize the fact that they don't have the things that other children have. Children realize when they're different. They know, I don't care how small you are, you know when you're different. And not only that, when you go to the public schools, many times the teachers make you know that you're different.
That's a fact. That is a fact. I mean, times I got called stupid, or my answer would, as I look back as a grown man now, my answer was on point or something revolutionary, and it was just shut down. Me being the only black one, raising my hand up that fast, being, chastised by my own classmates and the teacher. That let you know. Fuck you, Miss Shula, Jewish bitch. Mr. Reiner, Mr. Cohen too. Fucking Brotsworth chugging, dreidel drilling. You know what? What King Files? Where you find that at? Flip.
Welfare children I was not able to buy, white shirts for ties and things. If a mother go out like I do, I buy my child these knit sweaters and bandana sweaters and things like that. And he wear them with his pants. But Friday, he got to wear a shirt and a tie. And I just don't have it. They have sent my child home twice, last year for not being dressed in a tie. And I mean, it made me real mad. And I called the principal and told him, I said, look, my child ain't got no shirt and ties. Now, if you want him to have one, you buy him one.
Yeah, the only King Files I need to see is the one where he's saying that he was making a mistake trying to make all this integration. You feel me? When he was making a mistake, you feel me, not speaking out about that towards the end of his life. Yeah, I heard he was fucking women and all that. You feel me? And he definitely made a mistake. You know what I'm saying? He did do good things, but he definitely, in hindsight, you feel me? That man gone though. You feel me? But he definitely was saying himself they ain't put that out. He wanted to hold the country accountable. He wanted to hold the black dollar from them. They started acting right. Next thing you know, poof, Van Moose. He gone. We start talking about economic freedom of black people.
Even in school, constant and subtle discriminations are made between welfare children and other youngsters. To qualify for most free services, such as milk, a pupil must be on welfare, and thus declares himself a welfare child.
The teacher would
wanted to get out that line, boy. She said, "You won't hurry up."
Tell everybody, the kids, about him being on welfare, and he didn't want them to know he was on welfare. That lunch card they give him, it's on a special lunch that he get for welfare children, and it's not enough. They don't get no kind of dessert with it or ice cream, and I always have to give him more money to go with it.
They ain't gonna give but a handful of crumbs to a mother. What do you think the young teenager gonna do? Why do you think that's down here on Huff? Because when it gets dark, they have to go out here and survive.
Over there getting down. The people with the least amount of riches in the world know how to party the best. Have you ever been to a dance hall party? Rah, 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 rah. Pull up. Liquid mean forward, gunshot mean rewind. You gotta love my people, man. We been jiggy since the beginning. You feel me? Giggity gig. You dig?
This is survival and escape in Huff. Music, movement, and this moment. But in the morning, no job that will pay a living wage.
Shout out to my Buki out there in West Africa. You heard?
And it begins again. Brenda is 19, unmarried,
Brenda's got a baby.
and she has just had a baby.
Did Pac get that from this documentary? Brenda.
She's learning to care for him on her own.
It is not easy for a new mother, you heard? Because you know what I mean? I got two. You feel me? So my second baby mom's right. She was wilding all this and that. I'm telling her, like, yo, this and that, this and that. They don't want to listen. They get frustrated. You feel me? You got to persevere through that shit. Word is born, especially when they're alone. Oh, man. You might have postpartum depression. You might even know they have postpartum depression. You know what I mean? That's why therapy is a must for everybody.
She's trying to get a job to support him, and she lives with her aunt, who has 5 children of her own. Money was the reason she decided not to marry Kenneth, the father of her child.
I mean, I would have married him, you know, while I was carrying the baby, but he had no job and couldn't support us, and since we getting married.
Damn. Story of Black America. To fear and want and need. You already had a baby out of wedlock. Baby cursed already. Blessings come with marriage. I don't care what you say. But the logic is understandable within a nation that covers your eyes and keeps you ignorant to things. She said she would have married him while she was pregnant, but he ain't had no job. So she canned the nigga and got the government assistance. Damn. On both sides, double damn.
My sister getting married, so I said, wait. I plan on marrying him next year, no sooner than next year. Have to give him time to work first. I mean, what's the sense of marrying somebody if he can't support you? That's
Why you having sex? Stop having sex. Jezebel spirit. Stop fucking. You heard? Still going on today. Oh, he niggas ain't shit. Stop having sex. It's so hard to keep your legs shut. It's that hard. It is. Oh my God, you want us to not have sex? Oh my God, you want to take away abortion?
That's his job to support you and the baby. Not my job to support him and the baby. So after he start working, you know, work more than he been working, then I'll marry him. And I think he's able to take care of 2.
Not necessarily.
Many of the girls who go on welfare never graduate from high school. A girl who gets pregnant in most high schools is automatically expelled. Usually she doesn't come back. She's on her way to a lifetime of dependence on welfare. The Webster School in Washington, D.C. is a high school for pregnant girls. A psychotherapy session is a weekly part of the curriculum.
I first found out that I had become pregnant, and when I found out that there was this school called Webster, I thought that I was going to be shut out away from the other people and that I was going to be an outcast. But when I came into Webster, it seemed...
It looked like the Shirelles, you heard? It looked like rolling on the rail.
that I had more what you would say, people on my side, more attention going towards my way. And with the help of Miss Gill, and then with the help of some of my good friends here, I seem to be making it and all.
And being here with these girls, you know,
are closer to you. I think that all of us are closer together than girls that have not been pregnant, because
Shout out to my 3 viewers. Shout out to my baby out there in Senegambia.
they all have their opinions and they can easily say things, but we have, we're all going through the experience.
This is Patricia Schiller.
Them earrings had the hoop earrings. You heard? That go all the way back to Africa.
Is a clinical psychologist. She directs the conversation toward future plans and prospects.
Well, I've got a job. I'm going for an interview today, and I filed for support from the father in the court, and it should be coming through by the time I get back in school in September. For a long time, I was under the firm belief that no one really has any excuse for being on public assistance. But when my grandparents and my father found out I was pregnant, their first attitude was, we aren't going to do anything for you. And my grandmother told me from the beginning, you may not bring this baby into my house. Now, she has responsibility for me until I'm 18 years old. I talked to my social worker here at school.
Also, that toxicity. Other people don't do this, just push out their kids like that. They have the whole family in the garage if they got to. We got to stick together. We have no friends at all. Her parents was toxic. Yeah, she made a mistake. Yeah, she was stupid. But then to say that, oh, you ain't never gonna come back on that super Christian tip, you feel me? Yeah, she living in sin. Where's she gonna go? You're gonna cause a whole generation of hurt and pain through that baby, through that woman. She gonna make up anything in the book just for that child to hate the family or whatnot, or the father.
And I have talked to people down at Child Welfare, and it's being made possible right now for my baby's born in September for me to put that child in a foster home and to visit it, and they'll take care of it until after I finish the 12th grade and I'll be 18, I'll be on my own, and then I can provide for my child in my own way. And therefore I think that it can be a good program.
When a girl drops out before completing her high school education, she finds it difficult to get a job to take care of the baby. In many instances, this would force a girl to go on public welfare. If she gets,
Mrs. Fabola Gill is the school's principal.
which is terrible, and there doesn't seem to be any way out of this for me, she is likely to have another out-of-wedlock child, and as the babies continue coming, she gets farther and farther down into her state of depression.
Many of our young girls would like to work, and they have tried. They really have tried to support their family, but the system and everything else just tears them down, and eventually they just become satisfied with welfare. They don't try anymore because they see there's no sense of trying until this whole system has changed.
Jeanette Salters, a welfare mother, works in Head Start and receives a small supplement to her check.
Head Start, I used to hide. With my daughters, I used to hide in the closet so we could get stuff from Head Start program. You heard? I used to literally hide on paper glue. I never was there. I used to like ghost that. My daughter used to be looking at me in the closet like, you feel me? I used to be hiding. You heard?
People talk about the ADC mothers don't want anything. They're not going to ever get anything. This is the same feeling that they have. They have tried and they want jobs, but nobody's going to give them a job. And the first thing they holler, well, you on ADC, and you don't have any experience. And how can you have experience when you're just coming out of school? And nobody's willing to try, to give them a chance. And I'm beginning to believe, and so I'm most.
Is that brother Esau? Is that brother? Assalamu alaikum. You heard? I'm just doing this breakdown for the origins of the father not being in the house and all these mythologies that's being perpetuated into 2025.
The parents that people want you on ADC, they like you there. They can control you on ADC. And a lot of them just feel, well, I might as well sit here and get what I can. And they do have to cheat and lie and steal and to try to beat the system and try to just survive, not really live. Most of them are just surviving.
That's a white woman right there, isn't it? I thought only black people was on welfare. That's a white woman, right? A watermelon head baby.
Welfare departments claim that they want to encourage marriage and thus get women off.
They do not want to encourage marriage. How do you encourage marriage when a man can't be in the house, but yet the man can be in the house in rural areas? They're not showing that, though. They're not showing that piece. See how the media do? In the farmer towns, the husband was allowed to be in the house getting government assistance.
off the welfare rolls. But the investigation of a woman's eligibility for ADC discourages the beginning of any relationship with a man and marriage.
Well, if he's someone who is sincerely interested in you, you would like perhaps to invite him to dinner. You would like to, maybe he would like to spend the day with you. And if this happens, and you have a neighbor who particularly don't care for you, then the welfare department will hear about it, and then they suppose that this man is living there, or that you are supporting him out of your funds, you're feeding him with your funds, or if you claim you're not feeding him out of your funds, then their answer will be, then he's giving you money.
And she said, oh, you can't have a boyfriend. We don't allow that. And I wanted to know why. And she said, because it doesn't look right, with the kids. And so I said, I still don't see why they have anything to do with me with a boyfriend. And she said, well, you'll have to get rid of him. You have to make plans to marry him. And I told her I wasn't getting married. I wasn't ready for it. I had just got out of one. And I said, now, look, you're going to tell me, here I am, 37 years old at that time. And I've been married, got 5 kids here in the home, and had been married to this one man for 16 years, and you're going to tell me I can't have a boyfriend? And so she said, well, we doesn't allow the ADC mothers with boyfriend. And I couldn't understand that. So she left. When she left, well, then she come back to tell me that my case was denied. This is what happened. She come back to tell me that they had denied me, that I could not get on the aid.
If a man marries you, that he should, take on the initiative of supporting your family. And, to tell a man that makes, $125, $135 a week, that he should accept me and 9 kids and support us is crazy. Because, realistically, I would feel that if I married a man in this position, that, it wouldn't take but maybe 6 months. If it took that long, he would begin to resent my kids. He would hate me, he would beat me, and he'd scream at the kids. He'd start beating the kids out of frustration. And, maybe it wouldn't be because he didn't love me and the kids, but because he was, being deprived of, just having, a pair of shoes on his feet and proper food.
A lot of that happens in the family. The man brings down his issues down to the family, and that's a sad thing. You don't need to be there, sister. You do not. Okay, let's get that right. That's why they call those marinas the take up the wife beater. They got that a lot from like Italian families, the dude that come home to drink beer, Black families too, the frustration, the rage of not being able to complete your task as a man, to feeling being belittled. You are stressful stuff.
For himself, for kids that he wasn't responsible for. And this is, thinking realistically.
Weeping and crying for someone to love.
In Cleveland and elsewhere, very little economic incentive exists for women to get off welfare.
They would like for you to go out and go to work, or even seek part-time employment. But if you do this, then most of what you make is taken away from you.
They receive only a small part of the extra income if they work. The jobs which they can get rarely offer very much more money than the welfare check itself.
That little game kind of creepy. I don't know.
In a pilot project in Cleveland, they are allowed to keep only enough to bring them up to the state's welfare minimum. They are encouraged to go to school and get training, but even after training, good jobs are scarce. Beverly Siegel, a Cleveland social worker, visits Mrs. Fanny Brooks, who has left a Title V job training program to care for her children.
One thing I wanted to talk to you about today is the fact that you'll be going off of the training program. And now that you're going back onto ADC alone, it will be cut back, to regular ADC, which will be $92 difference. And that's quite a bit of difference. And it's going to be difficult, I imagine, to get used to living on that type of budget again.
Yes, it will be. But I would rather have a small amount and have peace and happiness and harmony in my home than have a lot of difficulties and different problems. I didn't choose this position that I'm in, and I wouldn't want my kids to do it for nothing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Today itself, too late. The wise man did yesterday. All right? You want to try that one for us, Mr. McQueen?
Leroy McQueen, who is getting his high school diploma and hopes to go into computer work, is a welfare father on a training program. It's a myth that the welfare rolls are filled with able-bodied men. Less than 1% of those on welfare are capable of working. In 1962, realizing that ADC ignored men and tended to break up families, Congress passed the ADCU program, Aid for the Dependent Children of the Unemployed. Mr. McQueen worked in a print shop for 7 years. One day, the shop went out of business. Mr. McQueen could not find another job. Shortly after he went on welfare, Mr. McQueen's wife died, and he was faced with the prospect of raising his 5 children himself. The welfare department gave him a temporary professional homemaker.
Men go through it too. There's single fathers out here too, clearly, as you can see. This is back when they didn't even have color vision on TV.
Maybe you'll have some more sometime, huh? You still don't want any water?
A midday snack is water and Jell-O. Now he remains on the welfare rolls as he gets an education. He has the added burden of raising a family.
Hi. How you doing?
He does the cooking and cleaning up himself.
Right now, not too much noise in there. Not so much noise. Come on, eat. Gregory, Reginald, Gina, Stevie, come on, eat.
I like that name, Kamani. That's beautiful.
Dinner.
He got that tutti frutti on Rudy. You see that on top of his head? You got a wop wop do da ba da bang boom. That also comes from self-hate, man. The hair and all that. You know, such a depressant state. You know?
Usually beans with some ham hocks, and as in most welfare homes, no milk. Almost all starches.
Wop ba boo da ba bang boom.
Little meat.
That belongs to Regina, Reginald. She doesn't eat very much, you know that.
Mr. McQueen's dilemma is compounded by the fact that he must find help for his children while he is at school or work.
Watch the baby, don't let it. Huh? Take your time, it'll cool off.
Mr. McQueen has many problems.
Go ahead and eat, okay?
He lives for the day when he can earn enough so that his children have proper meals. The day when he can provide for his family adequately. When he can relax with some assurance.
Look like Percy Sledge.
About the future.
How many roads must a man
Yo, I ain't gonna lie, I feel like crying right now. You heard?
walk down?
The electric guitar is in and out of the pawn shop. A reflection of Mr. McQueen's financial fortunes.
And how many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? And how many times must those cannonballs be fired before they're forever banned? Oh yeah, let me tell you that's the answer, man. It is the answer is going in the
Go ahead, get that little James Brown.
oh yeah, let me tell you.
Tell you, poverty and not having nothing and have the natural melanin, the melatonin to calm you down in such, depressed environments. Like I say, pressure bust pipes will make diamonds. This right here could have saved this whole family, this music right here. Jackson 5 before the Jackson 5.
Before it's the water to the sea, the answer is blowing in the wind.
Come on, baby. You want to sleep?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Want to go to bed?
Yeah.
Okay. Lay down.
Today, Mr. McQueen does not go to school because the homemaker didn't show up. His children play in the backyard.
If I could get a housekeeper, this would help me more than anything else. Just someone to clean the house. Cooking I do generally most myself, but even then, well, the right person cooking right, I could stand that, I think. But I think mostly what we need here is just a person to be in the house and help with the cleaning and getting the kids off to school. You know, now that I go to school myself and giving them their lunches, and I could take over in the evenings.
In the past, I was able to get you an emergency homemaker, and this seems to be a very bad month. They're completely filled up. But the woman says that's in charge of the referral says that she certainly will be having someone come out here as soon as possible. But I know that in the meantime, you can't afford to miss any more school.
Shout out to my viewers. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Again, as we're going over the welfare back in the 50s, when the isolation of the man couldn't be in the family, which caused the culture of not needing the family in the Black household. Mind you, Black people aren't the only ones on welfare, but as a stigmatism that is pushed throughout the world.
I really want to finish school and get back to work. This is my most important objective. And I don't know, it just seems like it's so far away. You know, the more I look after it, the more it seems like it just gets farther away. And then problems come along and you can't get a babysitter or a housekeeper when you need it. Like, for instance, today I'm home all day today because I don't have one.
Hello. Hello, Mr. McQueen.
Hi, Miss Stephen. How are you doing?
Okay, how are you?
Okay. What happened on the babysitter? Did you find anything?
As far as I know, they still haven't gotten anyone. She told me that she'd keep trying, and as soon as she would find one, she'd give me a call.
Well, what about those little pants that the boys wear? Really just about gone now, and there are a lot of holes in them. And kids need shoes too.
I can't promise anything because, of course, it has to be approved several times along the line, but I will give it a try.
Of the $8 billion spent on welfare every year, less than half ever reaches welfare clients.
That is crazy. Where that money go? I bet you if there was from another country, they'd get that ASAP for the cake clap. I'm just saying, it's the truth.
The welfare bureaucracy grinds extremely slowly. The total paperwork, the total number of approvals needed, the total number of departments that a request has to go through takes an awful long time. The most frustrating thing that I run across, and I feel is the reason why many social workers leave, is the fact that there is a volume of paperwork to do. There's a terrific bureaucratic structure through which every piece of paper must go through, making processes very long and drawn out, and there isn't the time to do the casework that one would actually like to do. Also, it takes an awful long time for a caseworker to get to know the system, the welfare system, and to try and live within it, and perhaps even beat it on occasion. Boy, I think I'd rather work with people that did have the basic necessities of life. It would make it much simpler. They could feel worthwhile if they were given enough money to live on.
I think since '62, the emphasis has been on providing services rather than just becoming an agency that provides the dole or, just the money that's needed.
Eugene Burns is the welfare director of Cuyahoga County, which includes the city of Cleveland.
With services that we're going into now, with the emergency service that we are providing, I think, which is a big improvement over what it was before, in addition to the regular casework services.
The emphasis on services, not money for clients.
That brother sharp right there, though. He got the little Gumby. That brother sharp right there, boy. That's how my father used to have us dressed, man. He used to love me wearing me a suit. You know, talking about, this is the son of a preacher, man. Son of an imam, you heard?
Has led Cleveland women like Louise Gaston into the welfare rights movement. She wants more money for welfare clients so that welfare children can grow up without a sense of deprivation.
Well, I feel just because we're on welfare, that doesn't mean that we are down and us. We're still people.
Right. Long live my grandma Missy, man. She was definitely a part of, this era, and she marched with Dr. Martin Luther King and all that, man.
Still are fond of their father. My daughter, she doesn't care for him, but I try to teach her that after all, that still is her father. He takes him nowhere. He doesn't come to see him.
She was part of NAACP, and she supported Martin Luther King, part of it.
He doesn't support him.
You take that trash out.
I am having proceedings now for a divorce. It's been hectic, although I've had to raise them by myself. I haven't had too much problem, even though they are teenagers.
Tell them to pile off the table.
Mrs. Gaston protests what she feels is the injustice of the American welfare system in not providing enough for families. But organizing against it is not easy.
But organizing takes quite a bit out of you. You're tired. Sometimes you're bitter. You get angry because people don't see life like you do. Especially when things are that you're trying to push are for their benefit as well as yours. I've had women slam the door in my face and tell me, well, whatever you're fighting for, if you get it, I'm going to get it anyway, so what I'm going to get out and fight for? What I'm going to get out and knock on doors for? I mean, these things make you angry, but you learn to look at them and feel sorry for them.
Cleveland women meet in Mrs. Gaston's home. The desire to change and improve the system has brought hundreds of Cleveland welfare recipients into welfare locals. The movement is a young one in Cleveland, and nationally it's about a year old. The experience of being in an organization is a new one for most of the women. Building a membership means gaining a strategy for organizing.
So I was under the impression, and I was told that no one person have to join a local to get any kind of help or aid from the local.
That's what your group says.
That's right. You don't have to.
But all the other groups don't see it like you do. Because I brought it back to my group, how you all felt, remember? That this was primary.
The women believe that the first step in reforming the welfare system is for them to get adequate money. They do not feel they need rehabilitation by caseworkers who make continual investigations into their eligibility for welfare. They want enough money to raise their families. They want a chance at jobs which will pay them decently. They want a share in making the decisions which affect their lives.
$50 cut in their check, and you're going to tell them to give you $1, then you'll see that their check is right. He said, yeah, if they want to get erased, or if they want their money back. Now, this is what he said the National Coordinating Committee was supporting, and I'm in thorough disagreement with that.
I think we went over this ground before, and I think
I like the way they talk about this. She said, I'm in thorough disagreement with that. Okay, mamas. Okay, Auntie Lena.
we did agree that in terms of Cleveland organizing, that the denial of service wasn't to take place if a person didn't have their dues. Yeah, that was the understanding I think we all had.
Paul Younger is a Protestant minister who has worked with the poor for a decade.
That we're trying to get folks from all over the city into our locals, and they'll be coming to the Food Stamp Center.
Okay, we trying to sign people up to join
welfare rights movement. And what's been happening is people on welfare for years have really been just mistreated, and now we're banding together to really get something going. We have locals already set up.
That's what we need, unity. Unity. See how they was moving back then? See how that sister was moving back then?
And somebody will get in touch with you.
I can't write it. I can print it.
Okay, that's fine.
You print it?
Yes, you can print it.
An interviewer from a local television
Said I can't sign it, but I could print it. You know, they write in cursive. My grandfather used to put X on things he didn't know how to write.
station.
Mrs. Plummer, today is your beginning of recruitment.
Yes, we're out here to take in our relief clients to take and join our local union, welfare union, all over the city.
Specifically, what is it you want to accomplish?
We want to accomplish better relationships with the relief department. We want to take and get the things that our workers tell us
Just like he mama.
that we can't have, like household furnishings and clothing orders and car fare going back and forth to the hospital.
Ladies want to sign up?
Success in organizing is more than getting people to sign a piece of paper. It means creating an organization which can build effective pressure on welfare departments, which can deliver economic benefits to its members. And that means helping persons to receive their full welfare payments under the present laws.
We're trying to help you get some of the things that you're eligible for getting, and the union will help you because we're trying to get everybody to stick together. One person just don't have to fight for themselves. All of us fight for each other.
Welfare authorities in Washington disagree with the emphasis of welfare clients groups. Washington believes that rehabilitation through employment training will solve welfare problems. How is this to be done? The head of the Department of Social and Rehabilitation Services is Mary Switzer.
I think you have to have it organized. You have to find ways to take care of the children. If the mother is reluctant to leave home with the children, you have to have increased daycare facilities. And you have to begin, in many ways, at a different level than you did with a handicapped person who may have had some schooling, even though they may have been out of the mainstream of life. I think you have to find the right kind of training with jobs at the end of it. And I think all elements in the community have to be involved in this employment problem. We should encourage employment not only with the end result of getting people not dependent upon public welfare or public assistance, but to help them, if there is a low welfare standard, adequately to supplement it. And this has been one of the chief failures, I think, of the administration of public welfare in this country. I think that it has been a great mistake to not allow and not to give the incentive to people to keep what they earn up to a point. Now, obviously, when they have a job that is going to be permanent and they are secure in it, then, of course, you wouldn't want them to be dependent on public welfare. But until they reach that point, what they earn, they ought to be encouraged to earn in order to supplement welfare payments, particularly where they're inadequate. But usually what happens is that if they earn a little, they are penalized by having it taken out of their assistance payments, so the incentive to work is not as great as it otherwise would be.
Ms. Switzer puts her emphasis on the training programs and other services which will lead to the employment of welfare mothers. The welfare rights movement puts its emphasis on giving enough money to welfare clients to enable them to live decently. The form of the welfare
should have let the welfare clients be able to have their man. You feel me? And just track where he working at until they can level each other out. You know, instead of having them keep asking. Feel me? Instead of being able to do for self.
grant is not considered as important as its size. Dr. George Wiley is a key organizer of the welfare rights movement.
And we are finding across the country that there has been increasing discussion in high places of such things as the guaranteed annual income and other things that are supposed to be panaceas to solve the problems of the poor. Well, welfare was supposed to be a panacea 30 years ago. And all
30 years ago. What's this? This 67?
All those people who are poor today know that those kinds of easy solutions did not work. The thing that every welfare recipient knows is that there are 2 or 3 basic issues, and the welfare rights movement is beginning to articulate those issues loudly and clearly. That is that the most basic issue for a welfare recipient is enough money to feed and clothe and house the members of his family. And very few people who are talking about a guaranteed annual income are talking about giving poor people amounts of money that would allow them to live in decency and with a sense of adequacy. And it is that the welfare rights movement is going to have to bring across this country, that we won't have any guaranteed annual income or any family allowance or any other scheme that doesn't provide people with at least the basic necessities of life for their families. And the second thing is that there must be a system of income distribution that gives to people the money that they are entitled to as a right, and you are entitled to your welfare as a right, that gives it to them with a sense of decency, a sense of dignity and respect, that you needn't be the subject of these investigations. This June, the National Coordinating Committee has organized and set up a campaign with a very simple theme that every welfare recipient understands. And that is that welfare recipients are tired of waiting. We are tired of waiting for checks. We are tired of waiting for the little pittance that people give out. But it is going to be a campaign to demand more money now. And so all over this country, welfare recipients will be organizing to go to
It was like Grandma Missy right there. But she had longer hair. It was softer.
the welfare department to present a very simple form outlining the most basic needs that they have for food, for clothing, for shelter, and to demand that the welfare department fill those needs now.
Basic needs. And the little children.
On June 30th, welfare clients in Cleveland marched, along with welfare
I guess they in the front so they could see him, huh?
recipients in 40 other cities. They sought to build pressure on local welfare departments to give more money to clients.
We saying give our husband jobs now. Give our husband trades now. Give our family loans just like everybody else now. That's what that'll be.
Up and down Ohio's roads. This is a history lesson. It tells you how you got where you are, and it ain't nowhere. Okay? Up and down Ohio's roads, up and down we go. All we get's to run around, the state gets all the dough. Give the kids on ABC, how can they stay in line when welfare checks are smaller than in 1959? Oh, up and down Ohio's roads, up and down we go. All we get to run around, the state gets all the dough.
We are walking for more money now and basic needs now. Our checks are too small to buy essential clothing and household items. We call on county welfare to write us special orders to meet these needs now, because our rent and utility allowance is too small to rent our families decent, adequate housing or pay our utility bills. We call on the state welfare department to raise the standards for rent and utilities now, because our children cannot live decently on 83 cents of a bare minimum, or what it cost in December of 1965.
This type of demonstration, an orderly, well-mannered demonstration that existed today, brings out to the public.
Look at this. Oh my God. What in the earthworm fat head?
Public and brings out to those public officials in Columbus that there is a real need and that something should be done and has to be done. And I think, I hope that they're successful.
Something should be done. I hope. Okay. Okay, politicking.
But as far as staff, as I mentioned, staff has an obligation. We're a service organization. We're government employees. We have to serve the public. Our doors are open every day. Our staff is accountable for that type of service that is mandated under the statute, and we have to perform.
This is my captain, man. I stepped down off that thing, trying to.
Well, we can get the casework staff on immediately and just see what, who are eligible and what. Mr. Gaston. Ms. Gaston, will you come over here?
GRANTWOOD.
Want a couple more over here?
The usual press coverage of demonstrations gets a different reaction from the welfare client and the welfare administrator.
I want you two to hang on to this together as if you're handling it.
Well, I can't hand, I only hand what I.
No, this is for all of it. You're representing all of them at the moment. We got other pictures.
Well, if that's all right with the rest of you.
I'm sure it's all right.
Is it okay?
They're all smiling, so it must be all right.
Look at this dickhead. Look at this piece of white trash right here.
You smile a little bit.
Come off my horse teeth. I'm gonna play with you. I'm gonna play in your face. You're a nice black lady. You're gonna laugh with me. Come on. I'm gonna fuck you over.
Miss Gaston, I want you to grab a hold of them too. You're giving it. Yeah, look at her. Don't look at her.
Don't put it in front of my face, though.
Let you swing closer together, please. That's it.
Yeah, what you had it. This is all posing. She's feeling a little bit flattered. The white man smiling in her face. Probably never had that happen in her life. It's disgusting.
And smile a little. Look right up at him.
All right.
Oh, that's it.
Look right up at him. All fake. This clout right here. Look at this. I don't need no man. I don't need no man. I don't need no man. Look at this.
Why don't you give him a good smile?
All right.
I know she's fighting against it, but that as a picture, what's going on? What's going on today? What's going on today? This is what, 60 years ago?
Your picture being a paper, you want to smile, don't you?
I'm serious. I mean, this is no playing matter. This is serious.
We're
business.
serious too.
You damn right this ain't no playing matter. Look at this vampire. Is those dentures? Look at Party City, USA. The spirit of Halloween teeth.
I think it makes sense. Thank you. All right, anyone?
This is what they think. It's all a game. It's just all a game. He wasn't doing that shit when Bobby Seale was out here, or the BLA was. We ain't gonna talk about what the BLA was doing, but they are in my videos. You heard?
I also like your picture taken.
Look at this, Adam 22. Look at it. Look at that smile.
Huh? All right. Please convey to the group my appreciation for their demonstration and the manner in which they conducted it. Thanks again. Come back again.
Oh, I'm tired. I'm going home to take a bath and go to bed.
Complaints were filed and hearings conducted throughout the summer of 1967 to bring welfare payments up to the highest possible level.
Anybody ever seen Sinners? They start playing that music and shit. There was a woo-wee. You hear the difference between that brother with electric guitar and this banjo kazooie crap.
At the end of the summer, welfare mothers from across the country met in Washington for the first national convention of the organized poor in the 60s.
We need money.
Not we need jobs, not we need degrees, not we need licenses. We need money, my Lord. Feed us the blood of the states.
A bill had passed the House of Representatives which would freeze the
How many feds is in there right now?
welfare rolls at the 1967 level, would increase employment training in other services, and would compel women with children to leave their homes to work under threat that their assistance would be cut off. They came to lobby, but less than half a dozen officials consented to see them. George Wiley was one of the speakers. Dick Gregory was another speaker.
Long live Dick Gregory, man. Man, he was old. He was grown right here, and this 67.
We'd like to say thank you very much, because what you're doing here today, unborn baby.
That's crazy. That brother really lived, you heard? That brother really lived. He was getting a little kooky in this day, but that brother Dick Gregory, boy.
We'll be grateful for. We want to put the Senate and Congress on notice that we are here today, and we're not mad, we're just tired. But I hope they don't make the same mistake they made with the freedom movement. We came here 4 years ago with the freedom movement. We weren't mad, we were just tired. Today the freedom movement could not come back because we're not tired, we're mad now.
Give me back what you stole from me. You don't have to talk to me. I mean what I say.
That's right, it says, give me back what you stole from me. Matter of fact, let me get the heart of Africa, you heard? The king got that up there in England, right?
People say to me, is it just words? No, baby, it ain't words to me. I mean what I say. I got 7 children. I got 2 sons. All they can see is the Vietnam War. My son say, I won't go. I said, praise be your name, child. You ain't going no damn place. We spread the word. You know what rescuers is doing? I tell you what they're doing. We know we need a new welfare system.
And they damn sure did go. They got drafted. A lot of those people that didn't go was Muslims. It was in the news and stuff, but yeah, your babies probably definitely got drafted.
We don't control that system. We don't need them people telling me what I need, what I should do, where I should go, how I should act. I'm gonna act like me.
The doors of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare were locked. They could not gain entrance.
Okay. I wish I had some tear gas. Lock him in.
Mama said she wished she had some tear gas. She said, lock them in. Mama is not kidding.
They did get into a few congressional offices, but at least in one instance, the reception was somewhat less than friendly.
What we got to have. We're going to tell him. He's not going to tell us. And today.
Why we don't do this? Why we don't do this? Did the BLM halt us from this type of spirit? Did Shapiro qualm the black fires of our soul?
They really are under the wrong impression about this whole thing. They think it's a black power thing, but it's not a black power thing.
What is black power?
We don't want black power. Hell, you mean you're black?
A black power advocate tried to capitalize on the dilemma of welfare recipients.
Black power, white power.
There's just as many white people. You know,
it doesn't make any difference whether you're white or black.
You know what power is?
Yeah, it's just as many white people on welfare as there is black people. So what's up with this schism that black people is on welfare? It's an American issue, clearly. But who wins towards the end is definitely not the Anglo's descendants. It is not the YT people that gets the short end of the stick. This is what we're still going on through today.
The thing I'm worried about is my welfare check being cut off and I don't want it. And I don't want it if I decide to have another child. I don't want them to take my child away.
Poverty destroys hope. It breeds crime and revolution. It is perpetuated under a welfare system conceived in and for the Depression that does not work today. This is the only Western country that degrades the poor in the way it gives welfare aid. In most others, the state provides a family allowance that amounts to an income.
And they be giving free health care in these other Western countries.
Income floor below which no one can fall.
Everyone.
An adequate guaranteed minimum income would help to destroy the welfare cycle. It could be given in such a way that families would not be broken up. Breadwinners would not be penalized for working. And that's the battle cry of the welfare revolt, although it's in simpler words, more money now. For what the welfare mothers desperately want is a chance in life for themselves and even more for their children.
Yeah, man, and that was from way back archives, and that just shows the domino effect of not having a man in the house and that being a norm in Black American households, and in other households that's just kept on hush. But we are always the one that's being called welfare babies. I personally was never on welfare. My parents made it a point to never be on that, even though we was poor. Me personally, I thought the kids in the projects were spoiled as hell because they kept getting everything they wanted. They always was fresh, even though they lived in the projects. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Thank you for coming through. This is Abdullah Abbott with Black Light News.